Hey guys, my name is Sean Lynch and I'm the head coach here at Progress Peak Performance Cycling Coaching, helping to make you the fittest, fastest and strongest cyclist you've ever been. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to suffer. We all know how difficult cycling is, and even if you only want to be an average cyclist, there's still going to be pain involved. It's a brutal reality. There's going to be some pain at some point. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys my 9 top tips to get you through that pain. The biggest tip I can give you to help get you through pain that overarches all of these tips is to distract yourself. It's going to hurt, so you're best off just not thinking about it. It sounds quite simple, but in actual fact, it's really hard to do. So my first tip is focus on your breathing. Although your lungs may burn, it's never the same as the searing agony coming from your legs. Focusing on your breathing also has a relaxing effect, and it has been proven that breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth is the most effective way to do it. So if you focus on your breathing and breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, you can actually make it slightly easier for yourself, as well as distracting yourself from the pain. Tip number 2 is to focus on your pedaling. A tip I learned years ago is that you need to count them out. If you're really suffering, how many pedal revolutions you do in a minute, or start counting how many seconds is between each pedal revolution. I personally find it easier to count how many seconds between each pedal revolution. Tip 3. Break it down. By breaking down the goal into smaller ones, it can become more manageable. Focus on a distant object, although please be careful, as this can lead to crash. However, breaking down the goal too small will also seem unattainable. For example, if you have a 20-minute effort, being only 3 minutes in is pretty soul destroying. But if you say all I have to do is 4 or 5 minute efforts, that's quite doable. However, if you said I have to do 21-minute efforts, that's pretty tough. Tip number 4 is think of everyone else suffering too. This is all about positive mental attitude. Think if I'm suffering, so is everyone else around me. They've 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 lungs, and 1 heart, same as you. Just think back now to the last time you were really suffering. I can assure you, nobody else around was chatting or laughing, unless you're in the totally wrong group altogether. Everyone is of a similar sort of level, does a similar amount of training, is a similar weight, so you've all got to be suffering to a similar level. Tip number 5 is focus on the wheel in front. Admittedly, you will need at least one person for this. And also again, please be careful, as just staring at the wheel in front can be dangerous. Let's face it, nobody wants to get dropped, but it happens sometimes. And that's alright too, even though we don't tell ourselves it is. However, sometimes the mental suffering of being dropped can be enough motivation to just hang on to that wheel a bit longer. Tip number 6 is to look at the numbers, but not always. If you have a power meter, you can quantifiably say the effort that you're making, which can be great when the number is higher than you expected. But as many of you may know who ride with a power meter, the majority of the time, it's not what you were hoping for. And that's human nature, because we'll always want the number to be bigger. So perhaps take power off your computer screen, or look at speed, or look at some other number. Or perhaps turn your computer upside down and don't look at it at all. Tip number 7 is think about your goals. You've hopefully set goals for this season or year already. If you haven't, I'll leave a link in the card above as to how to set goals. Having a goal makes the suffering so much more bearable because you have a clearly defined thing that you're working towards. Thinking of or visualizing you smashing that goal can be all you need sometimes to push you through that pain barrier. Tip 8 is think about how it's helping you. It's true, it hurts, but it helps. As Greg LeMond said, it doesn't get easier, you just go faster. And nothing in cycling is truer. You get out what you put in, and sweat is only fat grime, so keep pushing. My final tip, tip number 9, is to put yourself against the pros. This sounds ridiculous, but it works. Let's face it, we all have heroes in the sport and people we like. So if you're doing a hill repeat session, for instance, you can picture yourself against your favorite climber, going shoulder to shoulder with them as you're going flat out. Or maybe if you think you're going really well, you could put them behind you, sitting on your wheel. While this may be unrealistic, it does help. If you're not ambitious enough to take on the pros, imagine the member from your local club who's about the same sort of level as you and is always getting one better than you. You can picture him next to you and you going flat out to try and beat him. Maybe you don't even have to picture him. Maybe he'll be right there next to you. This method of visualizing racing against somebody worked superbly for me for years. I imagined myself against the best pros that pushed me to the limit of my ability, but I somehow always managed to beat them. Admittedly though, a few did run me close. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and found it useful. If you did, please consider sharing it with somebody else who you think might find it useful. And also, leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, remember, pain is temporary, quitting, however, lasts forever.